mom that wasn't always messing up and making mistakes. But I don't. I've got Miriam.
Welcome to MsMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 hidden things in cartoons that will ruin your childhood.
I've got a hunch Fred will come home tonight with something that'll raise your spirits, too. Just think, Wilma, 13 years.
Yes, he's overdue for a promotion.
For this list, we'll be looking at small details, adult humor, as well as other jokes and references that'll make your favorite cartoons seem less innocent than you initially believed. Which cartoon moment do you regret revisiting as an adult? Let us know in the comments. Number 10. The Kanker sisters are even more awful than we remembered. Ed, and Eddie. Even as kids, we knew that the Kanker sisters were pretty awful. They were feared and avoided by the other characters for good reason.
Hey, Ed, so happy you dropped in. Hope you like our dad's robes.
But while we thought this was general kid meanness, we now look back and realize how much darker their actions actually were. They're so obsessed with the Eds that they'll resort to non-consensual behaviors to get them.
We are gathered here today to join in marriage the Kankers and the Eds.
The poor guys have been through the mill with these three, subjected to unwanted kisses and even getting hypnotized into becoming their pets.
Would you dogs shut up?
We get the kids get crushes and children still seem yucky at that age, but this is a whole other level of torment. No wonder the Eds are so afraid of them. Number 9. Munching the rug. Cow and chicken. As kids, how many of us even questioned the premise of this show?
I'm proud of you, son.
Me too, chicken.
You kids ready for some pork butts and taters?
Cow and chicken's parents didn't, so why would we? This probably also made it easier to sneak in several jokes that would go straight over a child's head.
What do you think girls do in there?
I don't know. Let's take a peek.
What? Are you nuts? You can get cooties!
For instance, did you ever really think about what delicacy the characters ate? Apparently, it's perfect for people who don't like to dine out on nuts, and it's not suitable for vegetarians. In another episode, a group of stereotypical biker women called the Buffalo Gals gathered together to chomp down on carpets. Yes, that really happened. Unsurprisingly, Cartoon Network opted to ban this episode over its covert sexual imagery and offensive generalization of lesbians.
Excuse me, sir, but who are you guys?
We're the Buffalo Gals!
Number 8. Becoming legal. What's new, Scooby-Doo? In this Halloween-themed episode, we meet Velma's cousin Marcy.
Velma, you remember your cousin Marcy?
Jinkies, Marcy. It's been so long. Look at you.
And look at you. You haven't changed at all.
She shakes up the group's dynamic by flirting with Fred and throwing dig after dig at Daphne. In one scene, she talks about getting ready for the masquerade ball since she was elected Corn Princess.
Hey, that's right. You're the Corn Princess.
We learn that Marcy's birthday falls on Halloween and that this year she's turning 18. As she reveals this fact, she slyly turns to look at Fred.
Marcy, I didn't know today was your birthday.
Yep, I'm 18, able to legally vote.
The hesitation between legally and vote tells us that democracy isn't what's on her mind at all. And if you're still unsure what we mean, just look at Daphne's face. She can certainly read between the lines, and she ain't happy. Number 7. Dexter gets a new assistant. Dexter's laboratory. When Dexter has enough of his sister Dee Dee, he holds auditions for her replacement.
So tell me about yourself. Oh, I love peace, quiet, and especially solitude.
Ultimately, he chooses Candy, a voluptuous blonde who knows her worth. When Dexter asks her to dance, she tells him it will cost extra.
I'd like to see you dance. Oh, okay, but it's $50 extra.
Sure, that seemed fair enough at the time. You provide a service and deserve to be paid. But now we realize that this wasn't just about workers' rights. We know that Candy's an actress since she quits when she discovers the job won't get her any screen time. But while waiting for her big break, perhaps she's also been dabbling in another adult profession.
Oh, what does this button do?
Speaking of mature moments, remember when Dexter's neighbor had Dad's trophy slapped across her backside? Number 6. Happy Accidents, the Powerpuff Girls. If you thought the Powerpuff Girls was always sugar, spice, and everything nice, think again.
Hey, this is Robin. I like her. She draws. These are my sisters, Blossom.
We all know that the adorable crime-fighting sisters resulted from a lab accident. In one episode, Bubbles relays this story to their friend Robin, who gets the wrong end of the stick.
Yeah, he made us in his laboratory by accident.
Well, what can I say?
After meeting the girl's father, she reassures the professor that he's not alone, since she's the result of an accident too.
Don't worry, Professor. I was an accident too. Your dad is funny.
While Professor Utonium's error involved a chemical X spillage, Robin's parents' accident involved a different kind of discharge that resulted in mixing X and Y. At least the results were incredibly cute. Before we move on, let us also leave you with this image of the mayor licking a pussy cat. Number 5. Fingerprints, Animaniacs. This classic 90s cartoon was never afraid of pushing the censorship envelope, but they did it so slyly that it often went over our innocent little heads.
Animaniacs, we have pay or play contracts. We're singing to the max, there's baloney in our slacks.
One classic example comes from an episode that parodies Agatha Christie's murder mysteries. Yakko channels Hercule Poirot and orders his sister to dust for Prince. Only she mishears him and strolls in carrying music icon Prince.
I found Prince!
His attempts to clarify don't go down any better, although they might have caused a few raised eyebrows from older audiences.
No, fingerprints.
I don't think so.
We guess Prince and Prince do sound quite alike, but following the word finger, they have vastly different interpretations. Prince gives Dot a knowing smile, but she throws his hopes and him out the window. Number 4. Helga's mom loved a smoothie. Hey Arnold. Looking back at this series, did you ever notice that Helga's mom Miriam always seems to be either making or drinking a smoothie?
I got you some of those little chocolate donuts.
What? What's happening?
You gotta eat something. Remember? You're starting your community service job down at the animal shelter today.
And based on some of her other prominent qualities, we don't think she was on a health kick or smoothie cleanse. Think about it. Miriam seems prone to slurring her words. She's often off balance and disoriented and tends to pass out. There's even one incident where Arnold asks Helga if her mom got her license back.
When did she get her license back? Well, technically she hasn't, but she has to get to work.
Yeah, we're pretty sure Miriam was adding a secret ingredient to her beverages. No wonder Helga looks for love elsewhere, although that girlhood quote sounds like it belongs in a romance novel rather than a kid's cartoon.
Why must I worship you and never ever tell? Arnold, you make my girlhood tremble.
Number 3. Cigarette advertisement, The Flintstones. This modern Stone Age family has entertained children for several decades.
They don't take kindly to having their fun interrupted. And if I were you, I'd beat it.
While we'd consider it a kids' show today, it aired during prime time, meaning it often featured content for an older audience. Back in its early days, an ad that was integrated into the show promoted a cigarette company called Winston. In one version, Fred and Barney comment on their wives' endless chores, but rather than help, they hide out, and that's when Barney offers his friend a smoke.
I got a better idea. Let's take a Winston break. That's it! Winston is the one filter cigarette that delivers flavor 20 times a pack.
Admittedly, this was a different time. But since cigarette adverts were banned in 1971, this has been outdated and shocking for a long period. It's almost unfathomable that this was ever permitted on a family-friendly show.
Yeah, pal, and you've earned yourself a Winston. Yeah, Winston. That's the one with filter blend up front. Sure, that's the big difference, Barney.
Number 2. Racist depictions, Rugrats. A show about babies. What could be more wholesome than that?
Brilliant. Lil, could I ask you a question?
Well, a lot of things if Rugrats is anything to judge by. The show wasn't afraid of risque humor, from Tommy's screwdriver, Grandpa Lou's penchant for lonely alien vixens, or this phallic graffiti. However, we also learned a little something, like the anatomical differences between Phil and Lil, and what gets cut after a baby's birth, the latter in a feature film.
Man, they cut my cord.
Oh, consider yourself lucky.
However, the most shocking detail is in its portrayal of Grandpa Boris. It received backlash from the Anti-Defamation League, who likened the depiction of this Jewish character to those seen in Nazi propaganda.
They took my picture for this. I gewalt! They used Shlomo's picture instead of mine!
Even so, the episode celebrating Hanukkah received an overwhelmingly positive response from most outlets. Before we unveil our top pick, here are a few honorable mentions. Play Duck Magazine, Tiny Toon Adventures. How did this joke even duck past censors? Patrick covers his genius, SpongeBob SquarePants. Well, this explains a lot.
That's it! Patrick, your genius is showing.
Where?
Nice S, Superman, the animated series. Sorry, did we hear that correctly?
Nice S.
Excuse me?
Right here. He's strong, he flies, he's the Nietzschean fantasy ideal all wrapped up in a red cape.
A life-changing banana. The Adventures of Jimmy Neutron, Boy Genius. Anyone else getting American Pie vibes?
Once when I was 7 years old, I sat on a banana. And of course, that changed my life.
The Fastest Man Alive, Justice League. Speediness isn't always the most desired quality.
Fastest man alive.
Which might explain why you can't get a date.
Yeah. Hey, what's that supposed to mean?
Quiet.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. Rocko's Job, Rocko's Modern Life. Looking back at Rocko's Modern Life, it's hard to believe this was a children's show.
Hey, could you get that? Thanks a lot.
So much racy content made it past the censors that we have to wonder if Nickelodeon was an appropriate home. For instance, remember when they play a game of Spank the Monkey? Or when Rocko goes fruit picking and grabs the wrong pair of berries? And here's a question, what exactly is this new job Rocko gets hired for in the episode Canned? The posters around him suggest an X-rated response that he practically confirms with his subsequent dialogue.
Oh baby, oh baby, oh baby. Rocko? Mrs. Bighead?
We have no idea how the creators snuck something so blatant into the episode without anyone raising the censorship alarm. But we'll never look at Rocko in the same way again.
Wow! You're an idiot!
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from MsMojo and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.